Today, we are also committed to thinking of those families who are suffering after 8 years of Justin Trudeau. Christmas is approaching. We're still allowed to say the word Christmas, aren't we? And we will say it without apologies among the Conservatives. But the reality is that for a large number of Canadian families, Christmas is going to be a miserable period this year, unfortunately. After 8 years of Justin Trudeau, suffering, poverty, a lack of money, and food is worse than in the last generation. I'm thinking about letters written by little children to Santa Claus. Normally, our children write to Santa Claus and ask for toys or other things. But 27,000 young Quebecers in their letters have asked Santa Claus for much simpler things, such as, I'm 13 years old and I'd like a gift card so that we can buy something good to eat on Christmas night. Or, I'm 3 months old, I like Santa Claus, I like Christmas, I would like gifts, I would like a hat and a snowsuit. I'm 17 years old, I'm living in a foster family, and I would like things for my future apartment. Don't be afraid to give me something I already have, because I have nothing. Isn't that sad? After 8 years of Justin Trudeau, rent has doubled. Single mothers have no idea how they're going to be able to feed their children. In the morning, they open the refrigerator and find it empty. They don't know how they're going to be able to pay rent at the end of the month. And the exorbitant increases in mortgage payments for families who have bought homes or have to renew it are at their highest, even after the Trudeau government promised interest rates would stay low. They took out big mortgages then because Justin Trudeau said that debt would have no effect on that. And after having caused all of that misery, Mr. Trudeau wants to make it even worse. Even worse with another $20 billion of inflationary spending with his economic update. An update that he doesn't even want to talk about, because I think even he is ashamed of the damage that he is causing. He wants to quadruple the carbon tax. We must acknowledge that Quebecers are paying Justin Trudeau's carbon tax, and there's two taxes, one being paid indirectly, and one Quebecers pay directly. The first is the carbon tax that applies on the backs of farmers. So if Canada's farmers are paying a tax, then our truckers are paying that tax, and all the food bought by Quebecers that is transported elsewhere in Canada is also taxed by Justin Trudeau's carbon tax. And the second carbon tax will apply beyond all those other taxes. And that's called the fossil fuel regulation. That will add even more tax. And then there's another 20 cents a litre in carbon tax, and that applies directly in Quebec. The Bloc wants to raise that carbon tax on the back of Quebecers to finance a larger and stronger federal government. Only the Conservative Party, based on common sense, will eliminate the carbon tax to make life more affordable for Quebecers and all Canadians. A message for Justin Trudeau and the Bloc. You've caused a lot of misery, stress, and anxiety for Canadians. So the Bloc and Liberals will have a bit of stress as well, because today I'm announcing that we are demanding the government remove the carbon tax for farmers, First Nations, and families. Or we will put thousands of amendments in the committees in the House of Commons that will continue for 24 hours. We won't stop, and we'll delay the vacation of all members on the Hill until they remove that tax. We're the only party that has a plan based on common sense. That is, to withdraw taxes, level spending in order to balance the budget, and bring down inflation rates and interest rates. We do this so that work becomes paying again. We'll reduce the tax to build more apartments and affordable housing, to keep repeat offenders in prison, and to offer treatment and not decriminalize drugs. In addition, target real criminals and arms traffickers while respecting Quebec's hunters and hunters across Canada and their right to bear a weapon for hunting. We'll reestablish a Canada based on common sense. Common sense that will allow people to bring home bigger paychecks. Paychecks that can buy more affordable food and homes that have reasonable mortgage payments. That's the Canada that we want to build. That makes sense, and that's what we will do for Quebecers and Canadians.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas. Great to, are we still allowed to say Merry Christmas in Justin Trudeau's Canada? I can tell you Conservatives will always loudly and proudly wish everyone a Merry Christmas, even though for many people, this Christmas will not be very merry at all. After 8 years of Justin Trudeau, people wonder how they'll put food. Our children write Santa Claus letters asking not for toys or vacations, but just for snow boots and food for their families. Parents stay up late at night, worried how they will keep their homes, after rent prices are rising for the first time in Canadian recorded history faster than wages. That has never happened before. The cost of the average mortgage has more than doubled. The cost of a needed down payment for a new home doubled. Rent has doubled. The last 2 months have been the fastest recorded increases in rent in Canadian history. Yesterday, Justin Trudeau's own housing agency was asked if the government has a plan to close the 3.5 million home gap in our housing supply, and they answered no. This was not an opposition MP accusing the government of not having a plan. This was Justin Trudeau's own housing agency. After 8 years, as though he hasn't had time to come up with a plan. So far, his only plan has been to massively inflate the cost of housing with relentless and irresponsible money printing that floods our financial systems, profits the big corporations, and doubles housing costs, while he inflates the bureaucracy that block home building. He's since come up with a housing accelerator plan, $4 billion. And where's the money going? To build more local bureaucracies to block more homes. And while Canadians can't afford their rent or even dream of buying a home, now they worry they won't be able to feed their families at all. Justin Trudeau has presided over the doubling of food bank use in Toronto. Nationwide, 2 million visits, a record-smashing number of people lined up in 1 month to go to food banks. In our major cities, these lineups go block after block. If the imagery were put in black and white, you would assume it was historical reels from the Great Depression. Canadians are seeing a resurgence of things like scurvy, diseases that had been defeated. Why? Because Canadians have downgraded their diets. They pay more for smaller and smaller portions that they buy at their grocery stores. There are now 30 homeless encampments in Halifax alone. We never would have imagined these homeless encampments, and they're increasingly filled with people who have jobs. We have nurses who live in vans and carpenters who live in parking lots. That is the Christmas that Justin Trudeau has brought us after 8 years. And what is his plan now? His solution? To quadruple the carbon tax, not just on the gas that you put in your car or the heat that warms your home, but on the farmers and the truckers who bring us our food. Yesterday, after manipulation and intimidation by Justin Trudeau, Liberal senators voted to gut a common sense conservative bill that would have taken the tax off of our farmers. Just in time for Christmas, Justin Trudeau has ensured that your turkey dinner will have a big, fat, growing carbon tax caked on top of it. That is not part of the recipe for turkey dinner that Canadians were looking for. But yet, late yesterday, there were those Liberal senators who had received personal calls from Justin Trudeau, intimidating calls from a prime minister who claimed that he would respect the independence of the Senate, has now stepped in to make sure not only that Canadians continue to pay the tax, but that it goes higher and higher still. Well, I've got news for Justin Trudeau. You've ruined Christmas for Canadians. Common sense conservatives are going to ruin your vacation as well. We are going to put in thousands of amendments at committee and in the House of Commons, forcing all-night, round-the-clock voting to block your $20 billion of inflationary spending and the rest of your economically destructive plans until you agree to our demand to take the tax off farmers, First Nations, and families. You will have no rest until the tax is gone. Mr. Trudeau, you're going to have to come to terms with something. Over the Christmas period, whether through a walk in the snow or while you're sitting next to a fire, think about this reality. There will be a carbon tax election. I will win the carbon tax election, and whether you like it or not, I will axe the tax. And the choice will be very clear. It'll be between a costly coalition of the NDP and Liberals that take your money, tax your food, punish your work, double your housing cost, and unleash crime and chaos in your community, or a common sense conservative government that frees you to earn a powerful paycheck and pension that buys affordable food, gas, and homes in safe neighborhoods. That will be the choice. And we will remind people every day in every way that we are the only common sense party with a plan to bring home the Canada that we know and love. We will bring home lower prices by axing the tax and ending the inflationary deficits to bring down inflation and interest rates. We will bring home powerful paychecks with lower income taxes that reward hard work, with a blue seal, national professional standards, so that our 20,000 brilliant immigrant doctors, 32,000 brilliant immigrant nurses, and countless other professionals can get to work in their jobs, serving our patients and bringing home better paychecks. We will clear away the bureaucracy and gatekeepers so that we can develop our resources at home. Stop importing from abroad. Bring it home. Absolutely. And we will bring homes people can afford with a common sense plan that requires cities permit 15% more home building per year or lose federal funding, but gives them bonuses if they exceed that target, require every federally funded transit station be surrounded by high-density apartments before the federal funds flow. We'll sell off 6,000 federal buildings and thousands of acres of federal land and convert that into housing. We'll require CMHC to approve financing for affordable apartments within 2 months and not 2 years. And if the executives do not hit that target by law, their bonuses will be cut And if they still don't hit the target, they will automatically be fired. We're going to bring the real world to Ottawa. And those homes will be in safe neighborhoods. After Justin Trudeau has given us the worst increase in crime in recorded history, a 100% increase in gun crime, the highest murder rate in 30 years, common sense conservatives will bring in jail and not bail for repeat violent offenders, treatment, not decriminalized and subsidized hard drugs, and we will reinforce our borders to keep illegal guns and drugs out rather than harassing the law-abiding, trained and tested, RCMP vetted, lawful firearms owners. We will protect the lawful people and put the real criminals in jail. Common sense. What we're talking about is restoring the common sense consensus that used to exist between liberals and conservatives for a quarter century. We all agreed that budgets should be balanced and that they don't balance themselves. We all agreed in free enterprise, hard work, rewarding people who did the right thing. Those were the common sense solutions that from the early 80s until 2015 allowed Canada to be one of the most prosperous and safest places on planet Earth. Canadians know that this is the country that we know and love. You know, it feels like for a lot of people that we're a long way from home, doesn't it? With our streets more dangerous, the cost of everything out of control, wealth concentrated in fewer and fewer hands, people feeling sidelined, left behind, hopeless. But the good news is we're going to turn that hurt into the hope that Canadians need. We're going to restore a country where hard work pays off, where it doesn't matter if your name is Martin or Mohammed, Singh or Smith, Poilievre or Patel, Chang or Charles. If you're prepared to work hard, follow the law, build your future, support your country, you can achieve anything. That is the Canada that we know and love. And it is based on the common sense of the common people, united for our common home. Your home, my home, our home. Let's bring it home. Thank you.